It's an interesting thing.
How did you talked a little bit about how when you looked at the French and Italian graphic novels, which for many people they don't know that the largest comic book graphic novel convention in the world happens in Paris every year. And the way the Europeans see comics and graphic novels are totally different than we do here in America. But did your opinion change after the completion of Stitches? Of graphic novels and comics in America or just across the world?
Well, it's more informed.
Exactly.
You know, when I started one, you, for one person, started showering me with graphic novels.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them I just put on a shelf, especially if I liked them, because I didn't want to be infected.
I need those back, by the way.
Pardon me?
I need those back, by the way.
Well, one of these days, you're right. No, I really appreciated the attempt to educate me, but I'm very
still trying.
I have a tendency to steal and or just get. You know what I really didn't want was to be so impressed with somebody's work that I would feel that what I was doing was shit. So, especially if I liked something, I didn't look at it until I was done.
I remember trying to show you something. You're like, I don't want to look at that right now.
Yeah. Don't show me.
Don't show me. So Stitches has been one of the most talked about books since appearing in galleys in June at Book Expo. How has the praise been different than a new picture book?
Well, it's a different world. My God, I mean the people who review for children's books have just as many restrictions on them as the people who make them. So everything is very, or there's a code that they speak into librarians.
Oh yeah.
And that's why those reviews are mostly read by librarians, I think. But the reviews I've gotten on the blogs and in the newspapers for Stitches have just been amazing. It's also they've been overwhelmingly positive for one thing, which really surprised the hell out of me. As a matter of fact, I went a couple days ago. I heard there were 25 reviews on Amazon. 15 of them gave it 5 stars. 9 of them gave it. Don't do the math here. This month, 4 stars, and 3 people gave it 3 stars. So last Sunday I said, well, I'm going to go read a 3-star review. I need a little dose of reality. And this woman went on saying, well, I guess it's really a really good book, and I was really moved by it, but the character of the mother just seems so one-dimensional. She's just angry all the time and just staring. I mean, she's not even a full person. And then today came a review, a blog, about 6 pages long, talking about how wonderful it was that the mother was shown this way, because it was a total contradiction of that point of view.
Yeah.
And also, I had a cleansing conversation with a woman I haven't seen for 20 years who knew my mother. And we were talking about her, and I told her about this review on Amazon. And she said, David, your mother was a one-dimensional character. She was angry if the light was red. She was angry if the light was green. She was angry if it was yellow. She was furious at everything and everybody, all the time. So don't listen to that crap.
So every time you read one of those reviews recently, it's always like this shock that this picture book artist has created this great graphic novel. I find that in every one it's that way, and in the blogs you see that a lot. It's very interesting. So what can you make of the reaction of the comic book graphic world compared to, the librarians and the picture book fans who just fawn all over you?
I like the reviews by people who have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
That say that it's good, that they like the art. Yeah, I don't like. That all that other stuff just sort of has gotten in the way.
Can you tell the story about the Stan Lee?
The
Stan Lee blurb that you got?
What was that story?
I
didn't. That Stan Lee thing came straight out of left field. We didn't even ask for a blurb from him. Stan Lee, he's the guy who did Spider-Man. He's incredibly famous. What was the story? Just give me a.
I think it was kind of like, it was more of the unsolicited, out of the blue. Didn't your editor somehow slip it to him some kind of, in a cloakroom somewhere? And let's just make something up cool.
I don't know how he got it. I don't know how he got it, but he wrote this very enthusiastic review, and we used it as a blurb, and I made a picture for him. I drew him a picture of my grandma, like you see her in those, at the end of those little things, and I made a speech balloon saying, "Well, Mr. Lee, you sure have been saying nice things about my darn grandson's darn memoir, darn it." And I got a letter back from him saying, "David, it's such great, wonderful to have I love the drawing so much I won't even charge you for the framing."
Did he say he wanted to be in the
movie? I immediately went on Google Earth and looked up his house. It's huge. And it covers a whole hillside overlooking...
Spider-Man money. Did he say he wanted to be in your movie, too?
Oh, that's the story.
That's the story.
He wants to be in the movie. Yeah.
He's in every movie. So last question, and we'll open up the floor for audience questions. We've talked about this a few times. We talked about it a little bit at dinner today. Are you prepared for the readers' reactions to Stitches? We all know it's going to be different. You're not going to get the children and the parents who are just excited about the newest picture book, about the dinosaur book, you're going to get people with problems wanting to stand and monopolize you, which there's only a 3-minute monopolizing period for each person.
Yeah, it'll be different, yeah. I'll be interested in the Q&A, because generally when you're in an elementary school, you call on a kid and you say, "Have you got a question?" And he says, "Yes." And you say, "What is your question?" "My brother has a dirt bike." That's great. Anybody else have a question?